Hello, these are my hands, here's my voice, and this special box is a Chase Bliss Mystery Box that I ordered a couple months ago and have been waiting ever so impatiently to receive here in Canada. What is the Mystery Box and what's it all about? We'll get into that later. Why don't we open it first? So you can see, it's branded Chase Bliss. Showed up a bit beat up, like a lot of the ones I've been seeing online in this promotion, courtesy of our friends at good old UPS. Hopefully I blocked out my address and everything well enough, but here's a knife. So let's get into it. All right, hopefully that's good enough. Pop the top. It didn't feel very heavy, so I'm not expecting anything crazy in here, like no double pedals or anything, but it's just exciting. I don't have a Chase Bliss pedal yet, so let's see. Lots of fun tissue. There've been some funny videos on how much tissue and wrapping is inside this stuff. All right, here we go. Ooh, Onward. All right, that's what my friend Phil, who convinced me to get this box, also received. So that's really cool. I got an Onward, a cool keychain, mystery box club, and keep honkin'. I'm recording it into my looper pedal, and now you're part of my ambient record. Perfect. All right, I like the bumper stickers. And you got to check just in case there's anything else in the bottom, but that's a pretty good haul from a special bonus, and we'll get into what the Onward is, because I've never really used one aside from my friend showing me his. So maybe we'll swap camera angles and jump into that. Okay, here we are, a new angle as promised. If I were better at this, there would have been a fancy transition between those two shots, but I have no idea what I'm doing, so this is what you get. But the Onward is now out of the box and plugged in, at least. I promise I still haven't learned how to use it or really taken it for much of a test drive. In fact, in between shots, there was a passage of time because when I was doing the unboxing, I'd also gotten kind of fidgety waiting for it. So I started trying to make hummus for the first time. Suffice it to say, I know less about making hummus than I do about using even unknown guitar pedals. So it got a bit messy. It was a good snack though. So we'll see if I do it again in the future. I also drove across town to trade some gear, but that's a story for another day. Actual production pedals are a weird one for me because I started building pedals years ago. You'll see all over my house, there are half-finished circuits or custom painted boxes. This is based on an Earthquaker Devices reverb, and this is a germanium boost overdrive. I didn't design the circuits, but I can find the stuff online and build the stuff myself, modify it or paint it or whatever. That was a way to try to not buy normal pedals and save some money, or at least not have as many. And that obviously has gone totally wrong because now I just have pedals velcroed to the walls that I've built, and now I've gotten into Chase Bliss with Onward, and I also traded for a microcosm. So it's not, nothing has gone to plan here, except I have more stuff than I thought I would. But I can't build anything this complex, like the dip switch options, the looping, the glitchy stuff. Like that gets pretty tricky. So I'm very happy to get involved with this, and the mystery box was a good intro because Chase Bliss pedals are pretty hard to get in Canada for a reasonable price, if at all. So I don't know if you're watching this and you normally like synth stuff that I talk about. The mystery box promotion was at the end of November. It was $299 US, and you got a random pedal. At the very least, you got a random Chase Bliss pedal worth more than what you were paying. But some people got really fancy stuff, extra pedals, rare stuff, and everybody got kind of bumper stickers and keychains and stuff like that. And they went crazy and sold like 10,000 of them unexpectedly. So it was a good way to get in. If I didn't have a single Chase Bliss pedal, so it kind of didn't matter what I got. So, but the Onward does seem kind of perfect for what I've been doing lately, which is great. But the price of this new in that promotion is cheaper than these things go for used in Canada. So it seemed like a bit of a no-brainer. Anyway, I couldn't resist. Now I have more gear. There we go. But I've got it plugged into the Deluge, as you can see. And that's just because I don't have a dedicated guitar looper right now. I have the Deluge or maybe the microcosm I could use as a looper. And that both seems like bringing a bazooka to a knife fight. So instead of just trying to set up a second camera and do some plinky guitar to learn how to use this thing, I thought I would start with kind of a guitar-based demo that I've got going on in here that I recorded into the Deluge that I might do something with. But I thought it could be useful to showcase some knob twiddling of the Onward. And I hope it goes without saying, this isn't going to be like a comprehensive tutorial or anything. This is just an idiot discovering this thing for the first time. It's all set to noon. I've read a bit of the manual. Before I knew what I was receiving, I had watched a bunch of Chase Bliss videos, maybe on the blooper, or the mood, and the Onward, just in case, just to see what I might be getting. So my understanding of this is very cursory, considering what it can do with all the dip switches and everything else. So there's a bunch of hidden settings, is my understanding as well. So bear with me. Hopefully you like weird glitchy noises that this thing can do without me knowing really what it's doing. Okay, so we're going to start with just a guitar demo. You hear just kind of a, nothing too fancy. I think it was recorded direct into the Deluge as well, so it's not going to be great. So it needs help. That's why we need to give it some effects. I've taken off a lot of reverbs and delays that I had on this. We'll add the beat that's like just an acoustic kind of simple beat that I had just to get this thing going. And there's some other things we can add as we continue. But let's start with turning the Onward on and see what happens. My understanding is there's a freeze and a glitch section, and the freeze is good for more ambient kind of textures, and the glitch is better for staccato kind of blips. So let's start with the freeze. Okay, you can hear there's some glitchiness. So right now I've got all the knobs set to noon, so it's not nearly as overt as it probably could be. So if I dial the mix all the way up, okay, you've got some stuff going on. I think there's something going on with the sustain. So let's see. Right now it's set to a user. I think that's what that means, but I don't have anything user. So if I go this way to fast, yeah, so like it's changing the character a little bit already. So let's dial back the mix to bring back some of the, ooh, there we go, okay. Yeah, and this is a stereo pedal too. It has mono in, stereo out option, but this, I'm going stereo out from the Deluge into a Zoom L6 off screen stereo as well. So, already we've got something interesting happening. Now, if I dial in, let's say the octave, my understanding is one way it brings in an octave higher. There you go, yeah, you can hear that. I'll dial up the mix a bit so we can hear. And then here's an octave lower. Yeah, okay. Oh, and I've got this error knob. These are all set to noon, so why don't I dial the errors all the way down? And the texture, I think, my understanding is texture does a couple things depending. It's bipolar. And size might be more toward the glitch, but oh, there you go. Okay, so bigger size, no errors. We get a bit more of a smoother kind of ambient. Oh yeah, there's lots going on there. I'm not quite sure totally what's happening yet, but we're still just in the freeze section. So let's bring the mix back. Let's add a bit of that upper octave. And now let's look at the texture before we go to the glitch. So texture, my understanding is you get kind of a nice grit if you go this way. And this way you get more of yeah, there you go, like a bit crush. That's kind of cool. And then here we have vibrato or like a chorus. Oh yeah, okay, some phasing there through that chorus. Let's put the vibrato on, dial up the texture a little bit, bring that mix back. That's pretty cool already, so I'm having fun. So now if we swap over, let's go back to here's our dry signal, first of all. Now let's do the glitch section. Okay, so it's kind of like a glitchy delay so far, which is, one way to look at it. We can adjust the size of it. There you go, yeah. Bring up some of that size. Yeah, so a bit of like a glitchy delay. There's a way to tap tempo, and there's some MIDI connections and CV and stuff, which I haven't figured out just yet, but we'll get there. So let's leave our size about there, and let's play with the error for a second. We had that on accidentally earlier, so my understanding is there are different error types. I'm not going to remember what those are offhand, but let's put the mix all the way up. So that seems like a bit of like a bit crush or like degradation and dropouts kind of thing. Let's go to this side. Oh, there you go. Some like beat repeat kind of stuff, or like some kind of, you know, I bet you I could just open this. It's right in front of us, right? So is this cheating? Are you gonna get mad at me? Oh, right to the right page. Changes the sample size. That's what we're on now. So you can hear, yeah, it gets like tighter or whatever. The middle one was condition, which introduces sample rate shifts and mutes. So there you go, dropouts and a bit of a maybe a bit crush feel. And then playback, the next one we haven't tried yet, destabilizes playback speed and direction. So let's see, is that like a wow and flutter kind of thing? Oh, there you go, like somebody's turning a speed knob in front of me. Okay, let's dial it back and leave that one on. So the mix is all the way up here. There's no dry in here at all. Let's bring our dry back. That's pretty interesting. So we'll go back to our dry signal. Now let's add a couple other elements that I had. I had just a plink. Oh, there's like a pseudo bass or like a riff. So this is everything I had available that I think would work in this context. So now what we can do is let's go back to the freeze. It's pretty cool, pretty full, and you can dial that back if you wanted it more subtle, and I could change a lot of these settings if I wanted. But now we can add the glitch as well, which is cool. So there's fully wet, glitch, and freeze together. That's pretty cool already. So about 50-50, wet, dry. Now, my understanding is there are ways, like I said, to tap tempo, and there are also ways to set the balance between glitch and freeze if you want them both on at once. Like, look at all these dip switches. There's probably something in there to do anything like that. That would have made the hummus for me earlier if I wanted to, I'm pretty sure. And probably less messy. But in any case, like, hopefully you can already see some interesting uses for this, especially in like an ambient context. Like what I'm working in lately is a lot of glitchy or ambient electronic stuff. But, you know, I'm thinking about doing the RPM challenge again next month, and maybe this would be a perfect kind of bridge between guitar and ambient for me if I use them both in a similar context to what we've got going on in the Deluge right now. You know, so hopefully, there you go. Let's drop that down, amp up the errors. Let's really get nasty with it. Hopefully this is interesting to you. I'm having fun. This is, like I said, basically my first or second playthrough with this thing, just to make sure it works and try to figure out what the knobs do. But lots more to come. I'd love to figure out how to get the MIDI and CV and expression and stuff going, especially in a way that might be useful with the Deluge. And who knows, maybe I'll finish this track and do something with it in context of this pedal finishing it off. So I don't really have anything else I could say right now, because without going through the manual or really trying to make this a tutorial, there's not much more to do other than twiddle knobs. So I'm going to end there. And, you know, the mystery box was super fun. I don't know what I have to look forward to now. I'm going to have to, you know, what else? What do you do when you don't have anything coming in the mail? Do you just order more stuff, or do you try to have fun with the stuff you already own? I think that's the right answer, right? Maybe like learn to make hummus or something. It's really rewarding. Okay, I'm rambling now, but hopefully, you know, you got something you liked, or if you didn't join the mystery box, maybe you're interested for next year. Maybe you know, you're just gonna look up one of these secondhand or whatever, or hopefully you get something out of this. Anyway,